so many people, especially in Houston, Texas, in the Bible Belt, that love the Lord, they seek the Lord, and then they go back to the office on Monday, and for whatever reason, they either hide behind their faith, or they're not as strong in their faith walk that they compartmentalize. They don't let work and faith, everything become this beautiful integration together of things.
This is Virtuous Leaders, the podcast for based Catholics who will speak truth, do good, or die trying. Here's the show. You are the founder of Dad Voted. But tell us more about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Dad voted for developing devoted dads. And honestly, you had asked me 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, I've always had this urge to marketing, branding. I have a marketing major from Baylor, but I never had anything of my own. And honestly, this was revealed to me on day 40 of sobriety. Pretty cool. I was praying and I said, Lord, you told me to write this book. I have no clue. And you told me to write this book. It's going to help men and dads, but you never told me what to call it. What do you want to call this? And I heard the word Dad Voted and didn't know what it meant, looked it up. And then all of a sudden I'm buying a domain. And a week later, I'm meeting with a trademark lawyer and setting up an LLC. And now I'm a couple of years into a ministry or mission for men and dads.
How do you help dads?
Yeah, man, that's great. The core message is to be a better dad, you got to be a better man. And so it's really going at the heart of men. So I do that in a couple ways. I do that through writing. I've written now 2 books. Dad Voted is book 1. Dads devoted to discovering their duty, direction, and destiny. And then wrote book 2, which is a dad devotional. So really, I want men to be able to read and hear my journey and my story of my corporate, my struggles through alcohol, through other things. But then I do coach men. I coach men in fatherhood. I coach men in sobriety. And I also do group coaching on just strongholds too. And what's holding you back? Is it addiction? Is it workaholism, right? That's approved this in the world today. But I look to help men and dads through that by uncovering their identity, locking in their purpose. And of course, it's 100% kingdom focus on Christ. I sometimes try to not bring Jesus to the room, but it's just, I can't do it without. My story is just too powerful for them as well. So that's the heart of my coaching or my fatherhood ministry. And really, it's just the basics. Dads, how are you showing up? There's so many really good dads. There's the bad dads. We got the deserted dad way over here who's not even in the picture. And then you get into this mission of dads that are, actually towards my 4th level of dad, determined dad. They're good dads. They're coaching the football team. They're coaching the baseball team. They're home most nights of the week. They don't have any addictions or struggle. But the biggest thing they're missing is knowing the true heart of their child and knowing how to intentionally teach, train, and coach them in following the Lord. That's the heart of the mission.
Give us top 3 tips for busy dads to take their dad game to the next level.
Bro, oh my goodness. All right, here we go. You caught me on a Monday. I've got plenty of coffee in me, thankfully. Family meals. There's stats that say, you're in therapy and counseling and helping people. The stats say something crazy. If you have 3 meals a week as a family, the likelihood of your kid suffering addiction, oh my gosh, the stats just go on and on. I'm blanking here, but it's 3 meals. So how do we focus around having 3 meals a week? That's number 1 when I tell people out of 21 meals. Second is when you walk in the door, what do you do with that phone? Do you turn that phone off? If you're saving lives, come on, your phone has to be on. I'm sorry. But if you're just a corporate fella, turn that dadgum phone off. You're not saving lives. ExxonMobil will be there tomorrow. I know obviously people cringe when I say that, but put up your phone and have that and say that prayer when you walk in. It says, Lord, help me to give my best now. Give me a new revitalized strength and revitalized energy. And then the last thing is for busy dads, bookend your day. What do the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes of your day look like? And what is that? Are you to take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? So I kind of do 5 minutes of stretching. I do a lot more than 5 minutes of prayer and meditation, but just that meditation and prayer, 5 minutes, and then scripture reading, gratitude statements at the end of the day. What am I thankful for? I pray with my spouse. So I probably packed in about 9 things into your 3 there, my friend. But that's kind of what I say for busy dads: family meals, the bookends of your days, and then just that prayer as you walk in, that intentional prayer.
I love that. Anything else you want to say about Dad Voted before we go to your most recent venture?
Yeah, man, Dad, stop trying so much harder. You're already doing a good job. Just be intentional and focus on the heart of your children, that they are seen and known and loved. Those are three things. Second, yeah, I've got Dad Voted book number 2 is coming out soon. I've got to really buckle down. But, we're about duty, direction, destiny. The next book will be about dominating darkness, defeating divorce, and developing disciples. So it's more alliteration along those D's, but we're probably a couple months still out on that, hitting the shelves.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. Hey, so I'm curious from an entrepreneurship perspective, which is the other half of this podcast. So what kind of traction are you getting on these book sales and coaching, and where do you want it to go?
Man, it's up and down all around. Some days I get paid well, some days I don't. It's just a tough battle. Book sales kind of do this. I've had a struggle getting my book on Audible because I unfortunately trusted somebody who has not come through. I've recorded it, and so I know 50% of book sales come on Audible. So you got to have an Audible book from just that traction standpoint. Speaking has been good. Sometimes I speak and get paid a lot. Sometimes I speak and get paid nothing. So again, it's just building that route. But what I tell people is stop chasing I've done it. I pay the $150 for this coaching course. I pay $500 for this guy. I pay $7,000 for coaching for this. Some of that's needed. You need accountability. You need coaching. But you can't, at the end of the day, you can't chase and compare yourself to people that are further along than you. Naturally, with the entrepreneur, I have a business background, and so I also have kind of the Dad Voted principles buttoned up in a business consulting that's not faith-based. It's spiritual in nature, about purpose, and it's called The Wealthy Leader. So I'm also starting to move into the business consulting side and speaking side as well, to train leaders on how to be well, do well, and live well. And again, all of them are kind of those principles of just life principles. So I don't know if I answered your question. Basically, I'm up, down, and all around. I depend daily on the Lord to provide. I'm grateful for this season that he gave me I made very good money for many years, paid my house off, did a lot of things that to get us into this position. My wife went back to school to get her master's in counseling. So hello, y'all might need to have a conversation at some point. She's one more year in her program remaining. And then all of a sudden this C-Suite for Christ thing landed in my lap, which is a marketplace ministry. So I don't know if you've seen that on any of my postings, but I was praying for partnerships. I love being solo, but I thrive around people. And I was praying, Lord, if there's a partnership you need me to be aware of, make it so. And I got a text from Paul, this founder of C-Suite for Christ, and I am launching the chapter of Houston chapter of C-Suite for Christ, a marketplace ministry, 100% discipleship in the marketplace. So to say all that is I have lots of streams of income. That's kind of diversified in this approach.
Yeah, C-Suite for Christ was the next thing I wanted to ask you about. So why should I join that?
Yeah, look, it's the marketplace is fertile, and I say that in a way as such. There's so many people, especially in Houston, Texas, in the Bible Belt, that love the Lord. They seek the Lord. And then they go back to the office on Monday, and for whatever reason, they either hide behind their faith, or they're not as strong in their faith walk that they compartmentalize. They don't let work and faith, everything become this beautiful integration together of things. But C-Suite for Christ is not professional development. Now, yes, we will have speakers every month that come, and you're going to get a nugget of something. It's not networking. Are you going to meet some people? Sure. If you need a new roof and the guy next to you owns a roofing company, by all means, use him. You trust him. It is 100% discipleship in the marketplace. How do leaders come to get refueled, and then in turn can go back home, because home is most important, and then back to the marketplace to share the love of Christ. And so that's the premise behind it. Monthly gatherings, but also there will be prayer calls and other things that we do, but it's linking up with like-minded believers to increase our faith and to grow and cover this great city in Christ. Second, how do we steward these resources? Look, I'll be the first to say there's a lot of good resources. And I'm not saying come give it all to C-Suite for Christ, but man, if your passion is for fatherlessness, if your passion is for prison ministries, if your passion is for the trafficked, if your passion is for homeless, like let's gather these local nonprofits that are faith-based and help boost them so that these business leaders in this amazing city are doing things to cover Houston in Christ. How do we end abortion? How do we stop? I mean, I think the stat said if everybody in my church, I go to Woods Edge Community Church, if every member at Woods Edge adopted one child, in Montgomery County, there would be no more foster care needed. And now again, that's a big ask. Not everybody's called to that, but I'm just saying that's one church on mission. So I believe the kingdom can do a lot of things, and it starts with business owners based on just our influence as well as our resources.
So what's the connection between nonprofits benefiting and C-Suite for Christ?
I think it's exposure, right? You're going to hopefully be sitting in rooms of business leaders that are also kingdom minded. So they want to give, they understand that they want to see their dollars go further, honestly, right? You give there's some great non-ministry missions out there, but when you give $100, you'd like to see as much of $100 go to that mission. And so I look at how do we help these local nonprofits in this area just get more exposure, get access to kingdom-minded folks that are also business leaders who predominantly should have more resources. Doesn't always mean the case. You know what I mean? They have a heart to give, generosity flows, and they would rather see generosity go towards kingdom stuff than to a university or a school, which again, not bad things, but that's where a lot of that other funding goes to.
Well, hopefully not bad things. You can't really take that for granted anymore.
You can't. Absolutely. So
how do you get your speaking engagements for Dad Voted?
It's hard. It's referral, man. Everything's referral, word of mouth. I post areas of me speaking. I invite lots of folks. Churches I've pursued lots of churches. Some are open arms, some are. It's just based on the church, and that's nothing right, wrong, or indifferent. They have to take a risk on me to be in front of their pulpit. But mainly, most of my speaking comes from just that word of mouth. I spoke Friday at an event, and even while I spoke at that event, I had a church watching me speak, live behind the scenes, and so I just send out clips. I had lots of proposals. I get told more no today than I ever have gotten told in my whole life, and that's okay. I went to my thing on Friday. I spoke at was Inspired Leaders here in the Woodland, and I just prayed. I said, Lord, if there's one person you need to hear this message today, that's sufficient for me. And man, what do you know? I give a business speech, but interweaved is my testimony in the Lord's hand. And after that, I had a handful of people. The one guy said, I literally was turning around to not come to this, and I came. I'm calling somebody today to get help. I have anger issues. It's influential. I'm calling my therapist today to get back in. I'm going to go see this person. I'm going to get help here. I'm going to start going to this ministry. And it's like, that was why I needed to speak. A gal I just got off the phone with today, she's like, I've been praying to meet a person like you for 2 years that understands business, faith, work, all this stuff mixed in. So I look at that as, you know what, that's the heart of the message. If that one person goes away fulfilled and changed with action, you can't just be emotionally feel good. Like I'm going to text this guy, go, did you call your therapist on Friday? Like you said, like that's the coaching side of me, right? But the tangible takeaway, accountability. So yeah, if anybody listening needs a passionate speaker, I'll send you a link or two. Let's go. So,
and how do people find you, Kevin?
Yeah, it's LinkedIn's kind of my source of where I stay and play. It's just Kevin Goodnight. Of course, dadvoted.com, thewealthyleader.com, and wealthy is spelled well, WELLTHY. And that's kind of where I hang out. Of course, come see us at C-Suite. September 18th is our first gathering. We will have one in the Woodlands and one in the Galleria area. So you're invited, my friend. Please come, and we'll definitely link arms and just go to battle together. That's the heart of my mission and goal.
Love it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you next time.